So I've got two of the best GM SUVs you can buy on the market today. We've got a 2025 Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum here, and then we've got a 2025 GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. Both, I do have to say, are absolutely beautiful, and honestly, they are similar in pricing. Now, this one here I will say is a little bit more, but you can get an Escalade that compares to the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. Let's talk price. GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate, 143,000 Canadian. Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum, 162. Now there is a 20 grand price difference. However, you can get an Escalade for the price of this. We've got an Escalade here, not a Sport Platinum, but a premium luxury here in black. It's got more chrome on it, but it will cost you 142, 282, and you still get the big screen in there, and you still get a really nice interior. Now there definitely is, I would say, more options in the Escalade, which we'll get into. But let's start right here at the front, and we'll start with the 25 Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum. So as we can see here, we've got more horizontal lights, and then this here is actually your turn signal light. As we carry over to the center, we've got this massive honeycomb grille. Then we've got your Cadillac emblem right there with a camera underneath. And might I say, I think this grille looks really good on this vehicle. Down below, we can see we've got all your parking sensors, and then this here is actually your radar detection for more of your adaptive cruise control technology. Overall, I gotta say, they did a really good job with the Escalade. When it comes to the hood, everything kind of angles more center-wise, so it kind of brings out that boldness. Now we'll start with the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. So we can start right here in the middle. We've got the GMC logo there in a slate gray. The grille now is more horizontal as opposed to the honeycomb in the Escalade. We've got your parking sensors down below, a little bit more of a brushed aluminum look there. And then over on the sides here, we've got more C-shaped lights. So this here is your LED light with an LED daytime running light. Then you've got Denali there on the side, which I think looks cool. It's a nice little touch. Then we've got your fog lights down below. Now, when it comes to the hood, I would say there are more angular parts to it, and I still think it looks good and brings out the front end fascia very well on the vehicle. Now, I would say that is it at the front here. Let's take a look underneath the hoods here and go over the engines of choice. All right, so I've got both hoods open. We'll start here with the Yukon and go over what's underneath here. So we've got naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque with the 10-speed auto. Now, this Escalade here carries that same engine, 6.2 liter V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. Now, you can get a different option on the Yukon Denali Ultimate, and that is the 3 liter Duramax, which some people may want to get, especially when it comes to fuel economy. The Escalade used to carry it in the 2024 model year, but now they only offer the 6.2 liter. Still a great engine, I would say. I mean, it did have its hiccups a couple years back, but now I would say all of those issues have been fixed. However, some people may prefer, like I said, the diesel. Some people also didn't even know that the Escalade did come in a 3 liter Duramax, right? Some people may have liked that option, but I digress. That's what's underneath the hood here. I would think most people prefer a V8 anyways. So let's take a look around these two vehicles and go over the different options they have. Let's take a look around these vehicles. We'll start here again with the Escalade. So we're sitting on a really cool 22-inch wheel, and we're sitting on a Bridgestone tire. Now the tire size here is 275/50 R22. Inside we can see we've got a carpeted liner, and it does sit on air suspension. We've got the Cadillac logo there on the fender, and then here we've got a body matched mirror cap, and it's got a nice flakiness to the color. The color is actually called Crystal White Tri-Coat. Now here's a side glimpse of what the Escalade looks like. So not too much, and there's not much chrome, I would say, around the vehicle because it's the sport option. So you'll see a lot more black around it. We've got some more black trim at the bottom there, and then also there at the back. Now to open the door, the handle doesn't move. You got keyless entry only on the front two doors, but you get a little light indication here, and then to open it, all you do is push behind here, and it opens just like this. Now with the door panel, we got soft touch here with some white stitching. We've got your window controls here with lock and unlock, some wood grain here. So overall, I think the door panel looks good. We've got your AKG speaker there. We've got Escalade there on the door sill. And then as we carry over to the seat, we get a really nice perforated seat here, all soft and plush. You know, you got speakers in the headrest, white piping, white stitching. adjustments here to control it with massaging seats. And then we'll get into this, but we've got this massive 55-inch display screen here. Now with the Escalade, you get a charge port here too for your phone, and then you get some storage underneath there with an HDMI and USB-C on the passenger side, which is pretty cool. Now, one other thing, as you probably noticed, is you do get a running board, and this Escalade here has soft closed doors. Now we'll open up the back here. Start with the door panel, speaker here, soft touch here. You get some nice wood trim with some brushed aluminum. Window control here with lock and unlock. Storage here, speaker. Escalade there on the door sill. And then this is what that seat looks like for the passenger side of things. So I think it looks nice and plush. Here is how you'd control your climate control. So once this is on, you're able to have dual zone climate. It does have heated seats back here. You get some more cup holders here too. And then down below here, you've got a 120, 2 HDMIs, and 2 USB-Cs. You've also got your screens here, if you did not notice. I will open up the panoramic moonroof so you guys can't see it once we get onto the other side. But I like that this at the top here is an Alcantara. I think it's a nice touch to add. Now you can get an executive seating package here, but I only would recommend it if you only have 2 kids or 2 people back here, because getting to the third row, you actually have to automatically move the seat. It doesn't have these levers. You also do get handles here. Now, a couple cool things. To move this seat, you can obviously move this forward and back. You can push this and the seat will come forward. Or there's a button here. What you do is you push it on the side and the seat will just fold just like that. So very easy to do. Now, I'll show you guys how I would get in it and see how I would fit in the back here of the Escalade. All right, so I'll show you guys how I get in here. Very easy, tons of room. I like the handle here just in case. I love the screens here too. The door panel is really nice and soft. I think the quality of the material is good too. But I've got a ton of room here. I've got probably like 10 inches, at least I would say. The climate controls here, very easy to use. I also like the fact that they've hid the cup holders in this little compartment here. And the fact that you can even hook up, your PlayStation or Xbox and play video games back here. I mean, I think that's wicked. You've got speakers up here. And like I said, that Alcantara liner just makes the interior just a little bit more higher scale. I like the armrest. You do get an armrest here as well. I would not recommend getting the executive seating if you have more than 2 kids. 3 kids getting back there, honestly, it's a pain in the ass. Just having nothing here is highly recommended, just because it's easier to get to the back row. I can just kind of scoot through and I'm good to go. But overall, I gotta say, it is really nice. Obviously, having a nice power running board too is cool. Just gives you more of that luxury feel, you know what I mean? So that's it for the back here. We'll take a look at that back tire and wheel. Looks the same. We've got that carpeted liner inside, and the wheel color is kind of like a gunmetal gray, and then you get the cleared out Cadillac logo there as well. And then, like I said, there's more black around the vehicle, so you could see, there's a lot more black accents than chrome. Really, I don't even think there's any chrome on it. So that's it for the side profile of the Escalade. Let's go take a look at the Denali. All right, so let's take a look around the Denali Ultimate here. We'll start with the tire and wheel. So we're sitting on a 24-inch tire. So the 24-inch tire here is on the Denali Ultimate. It's standard. And the tire size here is 285/40 R24s. And I think the wheel design looks good. You get Denali there on the side of the wheel. You've got a carpeted liner inside, and this one also sits on air suspension. You can see on the side here, we've got Ultimate for kind of like a badge. And then you've got your blacked out mirror cap here with the camera underneath. And then this is a side profile look at the Denali Ultimate here. You can see we've got Denali on the side. And then this one, compared to the Escalade, is going to showcase more chrome, right? So if you're a little bit more of a chrome person or like a brushed aluminum, this would be more for you. Or you can get more of a brushed aluminum look on the Escalade like that one does over there. But just comparing these two, this one has a little bit more chrome. You do get keyless entry on all 4 doors here, which is a great thing. I'm surprised they don't put it on all vehicles. But this one also comes with a power running board. And this handle, this door handle, actually comes out, as opposed to the Escalade where it just stays still. Now, we'll take a look inside here. So this has got more of like a brown mahogany style interior. And honestly, the door panel here looks really good. I like the Denali Ultimate trim. You got some wood trim here, some white stitching, lock and unlock, window control. And then you got a Bose performance speaker here and some storage. We got Denali Ultimate there on the door sill. And then here's what the seat looks. I think it looks good. I personally like the brown that they did in the Denali Ultimate. Now this is the only interior option for the Ultimate trim you can get. You still get speakers in the headrest here. Ultimate there on the seat. You know, it's got some white stitching and piping. I think it looks good. Your seat adjustments are here as well. You do also get massaging seats. And then this here, obviously now we can see that there's only one screen as opposed to that massive 55-inch display screen that the Escalade showcases. Some people may like just a screen like this as opposed to a massive 55-inch display screen, but you can see here you get some wood trim with some white stitching. You know, you got a glove box down below and then your vents and stuff. You do get some more storage over here, but no HDMI or charge ports like the Escalade has. But I gotta say, I think the quality and the craftsmanship also looks good in the Yukon. Now we'll take a look at the back. And again, we get that same material, brown mahogany, so you get some white stitching, the nice wood trim. It's going to come down to a preference, I think, for consumer when you're looking at buying one of these. You got the Bose Performance speakers there, window control, and then, yeah, I like the fact that you get lock and unlock here. And then here's what the seat looks like. You don't get that kind of ultimate badge here as you do in the front, but you get the same type of seat adjustments here. You know, you can go forward or back, you can put it down. Denali Ultimate there on the door sill. And then this here has got some soft touch here. Now this one has a screen here which you can control, whereas the Escalade did not. So this actually looks a little bit nicer, and you get your HDMI ports with USB-Cs and then your 120, and then your cup holders are there, whereas in the Escalade, I like it. It's a little bit more of a cleaner look. You pull them out. Now you still get a button here to move the seat forward. So if I push the button, the seat will come down just like that. Very, very easy to do. And then when you want it to come up, all you do is kind of have to heave on it a little bit and it'll come up just like that. But let me show you guys how I would get in here in the GMC Yukon Denali. All right, so if I were to get inside this vehicle, well, number one, I'm going to have to move the seat back just like that. It does have the power running board there, so again, very easy. You got a handle here to get in. I would say it's very similar to the Escalade. I've got a decent amount of room for sure. I would say the same. Just going to depend also how far back this seat is. You've got your screens here too. I do like this screen in here, to be honest, as opposed to the buttons layout on the Escalade. So that's cool, especially for the back here. Now you can't get an executive seating package in the GMC, but like I said, in the Escalade you can. It's very comfortable. The seat works well. You know, I've got the armrest here on the left side too. This one doesn't have the Alcantara suede headliner, which I think it looks better, you know, regardless, and the Escalade does have it. But I don't see any speakers up here where the Escalade did have the speaker. But overall, I mean, it's comfortable, you know. Similar kind of tech, obviously, with putting the seats down and how they, you know, go forward and back. Same type of deal. This is what you could do to recline. They both recline, so that's easy. But yeah, for a long cruise, you know, I would say they're tied. You know, they're both similar. But I definitely notice, you know, the fact that this one is not, I would say, more upscale than the Escalade. I still think the interior is beautiful, but, you know, just some of the chrome pieces they put in the Escalade and where they put things in the seats themselves. But honestly, it's the back here on the Yukon is beautiful too. So I would say, honestly, they're tied for comfort and space. But yeah, I think they're really good. They're both really cool. And then we'll get a glimpse here at that back tire and wheel. Again, same tire size here and a 24-inch wheel with that carpeted liner inside. And this one also, like I said, does sit on air suspension. And like I said before too, you get a little bit more chrome here with the Denali Ultimate compared to the Platinum, the Sport Platinum over there. So that's it for a side profile view. Let's take a look at both trunks and go over the options. So we'll start here with the Escalade Sport Platinum, and we'll start right here in the middle. We can see we've got the Cadillac logo there, some more blacked out trim pieces, Escalade on the left, 600 on the right. Dual exhaust there with parking sensors. You got your cameras there, one for your mirror and one for your backup camera. Your windshield wiper is there at the top. Now you can access the back trunk just by pushing this button and opening the glass, which I think is pretty cool. And then you can also open up the trunk just by pushing down on the Cadillac logo. Now in the back here of the Escalade, you can put the seats down just by using these buttons here, and then you've got a 120 as well. But just by clicking this, you're able to have the seat go down as well as the headrest, which gives you a lot more room if you need to. You can put the middle seats down, but they don't come up. You can only push them down. And then you also get some storage underneath here. You got speakers, and then for your third row passengers, they do get USB-Cs for charging. So one other cool thing they did here in the back is they gave a little indent here, so if someone's a little bit taller, you might be able to get a little bit more headroom. Now to close it, all you do is push the button there, and it will come down ever so slowly. But that is it for the back of the Escalade here. Let's go take a look at the Yukon and compare the two. So in the back here of the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate, we'll start in the middle. We can see that they actually put the Denali badge there, and then GMC there, Yukon on the left. You get a kind of dark slate trim piece here. But as we can see with the tail lights, they're obviously not vertical. They're a little bit smaller, and they kind of go into the tailgate. At the bottom here at the bumper, we've got quad-tipped exhaust here with parking sensors. You still can open the back here with the Denali, so you can push the button. Same thing like in the Escalade, but in this case, you actually have a little insert here to open, so you click the button. Before we do that, I do want to mention it has the same camera setup, so one for your mirror and one for your backup camera. So we'll click that button, and it will open up as well. Now you're going to get similar space in the two. I wouldn't say that one's better than the other. I would say maybe slightly the Yukon is better because it doesn't have that kind of angle that maybe the Cadillac has. But when it comes to storage space, I would say they're roughly the same. You get speakers back here. Now you still can't put the seats down automatically just by using these controls here. So just pushing this button here, the seat will go down. And then again, you have more ample amount of room to put stuff if you need to. Same thing goes for the second row. You can only actually put them down, but you cannot put them up. Same thing in the Escalade. And you do also get a 120 plug here. So we'll put the seat up just to showcase it. And then here we've got kind of like an all-weather mat as well. Now you do have the same amount of storage, I would say, underneath the back here, so nothing's really changed. So when it comes to the two, I would say they're both similar. And then to shut it, same button, you push it, and it will close ever so slowly. Now that's it for the back. Let's take a look at the seat behind the driver and compare the two, and we'll go back to the Escalade. Just want to say thank you here to Applewood GM and Cadillac here in Mississauga, Ontario. Go see my boy Zach here. He'll hook you up with a great deal. All right, so let's take a look at the seat behind the driver on the Escalade. And as you open the doors of the Escalade, it kind of helps you. Like, it's very assisted when you open it. It's very like robotic, if that makes sense. So soft touch material up here. You get the white stitching, same as it is on the passenger side. I think it feels and looks good. Some brushed aluminum with some wood. You got a speaker here and a speaker here. Escalade there on the door sill. And then here's what the seat looks like. Very nice, soft, and plush. And then here are your seat adjustments here with the button here if you need to move the seat. Now, if I hop in here, again, this is what it looks like. So you don't get that screen that the Yukon does, which I actually prefer the Yukon screen. You still get dual zone climate with heated seats, but I also like the fact in the Escalade, though, that it hides the cup holders in this little slot here. You still get HDMIs with a 120, but like I said in the Escalade, I think it just looks a little bit more luxurious. You know, you get the suede Alcantara liner, the speakers up here, the screen's obviously similar. But in the back here too, looks good, feels good. I think they used good quality material when they built this vehicle. And then here it's kind of like a leather wrapped-ish handle. But overall, I gotta say it is really, really nice. Now let's go take a look at the Yukon and compare the two. So taking a look at the Yukon Denali Ultimate in the back here, we'll start with the door panel. Door panel looks good as well. All soft touch here with some white stitching. We've got that wood grain material here, lock and unlock, window control here, Bose performance speaker. And then we got the Denali Ultimate there on the door sill. And then here is that seat. So I think the seat looks nice and plush with some white piping and stitching. Same controls here. And then as we hop in here, I can already tell by the handle, it's not kind of like stitched like the Escalade was. But like I said, I really like the fact that they put a screen here. I think it's just more luxurious for the back passengers to just have like a screen here. I know you've got screens here, but when it comes to the headliner, it's just got like a normal headliner. I don't see any speakers up here. You can tell in the Cadillac, you know, when it comes to the headliner, it just looks a little bit better. But overall, I would say the material back here looks good too. You know, you've got cup holders. It's still very comfortable. I don't have anything really to complain about. They're both similar, right? So let's take a look at the driver seats and then compare the two. And I'll also open the sunroof so you guys can see. We'll hop out. So taking a look inside the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. We'll start here with the door panel. All soft touch here. You get some white stitching with some wood trim as well. Lock and unlock with some memory seating there. Window and mirror controls here. Soft padding here. Bose speaker down here, and then here's a bigger door sill of the Denali Ultimate name. As we carry over to the seat itself, looks good, nice and plush. You get that nice perforation with some white stitching and piping. Speakers in the headrest, the Denali Ultimate name there, which is a really nice touch. Now over on the left side of the steering wheel, we got more buttons here compared to the Escalade. So we've got your 4x4 settings here, light control, trailer brake, parking brake, and then here are some of your technology buttons. It is a telescopic steering wheel. Now I want to show you guys what the moonroof looks like, and it is pretty much similar to the Escalade. It's very big and it brings in a lot more light. Now let's go over the Escalade driver side and we'll compare the two. So let's take a look inside the Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum on the driver's side. So we got soft touch material here, memory seating here, window controls and mirror controls here, AKG speaker down below. The layout looks different compared to the GMC Yukon, but overall it looks good. Escalade there on the door sill. You've got your seat adjustments here with massaging seats. And as we carry over to the seat, really cool, nice and plush. You know, I got that nice perforation here, which looks good. You got the little bit of a Cadillac logo there, speakers in the headrest. Looks good. But also I want to show you guys what the sunroof looks like. And there it is there, massive. Both carry a full panoramic moonroof, which looks cool. On the left side of the steering wheel here, you don't have as many buttons compared to the Yukon. Over here, you actually have your 4x4 settings and your air suspension control, trailer brake controller, and then your parking brake. And then it is a telescopic steering wheel as well. But that's it before we hop in, guys. Let's compare the dashes because those are pretty much the noticeable differences inside. So we are inside the Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum. We'll start with the steering wheel. Steering wheel feels really good. You know, it's a thick leather wrapped steering wheel. We've got some kind of brushed aluminum around it. But you can see the controls are a little bit different compared to the Yukon. We've got Super Cruise at the top, but I can tell just by looking at it, it just feels a little different and, you know, a little bit more luxurious, right, in a way. You've got your heated steering wheel buttons here, your tuning knobs here. You can have, you know, different things on the dash there. Just by using this little button, you can go and filter through. Now, this one does have night vision and augmented reality, which you actually can get in the Yukon as well. But, you know, when it comes to an Escalade, they try to throw in as much things as they can because it is a little bit more money. Now, we do get paddle shifters at the back of the steering wheel. On the left, we got toggle for your wipers, transmission select. This here will monitor your eyes when you do have Super Cruise on. And then this here is that 55-inch display screen. Massive, you know, it takes up the whole dash, really. It's really cool to use, which we'll get into. Now, it does come with the heads-up display, which is nice to know. You got speakers on both A-pillars there. And then you have a speaker there at the top of the dash. Over here on this side, you got a screen for your passenger. Speaker there also on the right, and then there's also one here too. But you can actually hook up an HDMI cable here and, you know, or a Fire Stick and play whatever you want to do. You can web browse. You've got Wi-Fi in the car anyways. So it's a really cool thing to have for the passenger, especially on a long trip. Now, in the center here, we've got another screen here that basically controls a lot of parts of the car. You've got dual zone climate. You can put your heated and ventilated seats on here. So once you click this button here, you've got heated and ventilated seats, of course. And then you also can control your second row seats. So you can do heated seats only for the second row, but nothing on the third row. You can auto park itself. You know, you can put your cameras on by clicking that button too. This screen is very, very useful. You can even position the seats too. You know, if you got memory seating, you can put massage on. Obviously, I'm actually going to put massage on right now because I think it's needed. But ton of options here. And then here you can control your lights. You've got lane keeping assist. Ton of options really on here. And then if you want like a quicker way to put your heated and ventilated seat on, you just click that button there. So this screen will control a lot of functions of the Escalade. Now you can control this screen with the dial. So if you hit the home button here, you can scroll through and kind of go over the setting that you want to be in. You know, very, very easy to use. You also have hotkeys here on the screen, and then it tells you the date and temperature as well as time. Now, since the screen is kind of further into the dash, I would say you would probably want to use this more than your fingers because it is a touch screen as well. It's just a little bit more further in the dash, and then when you're driving, you kind of want to just lay your arm here, right, and look at the screen and be able to go where you need to go. It's very easy to do. You know, you've got hotkeys there too with volume. You've got cup holders here on this side too. You got hazards, auto hold, stop start, and then your fans on or off, and then some more storage. And over here in the center console area, you've got more charge ports here, and this actually is a cooler, so you can actually cool things, which is pretty neat. And then you've got a nice soft padding here. You got Escalade as well with some white stitching. You've got your rear camera mirror, and then here are your sunroof controls. So you can open up the moonroof, tilt it, do whatever you need to do. You can also put down and put back up the third row seats. So this is really cool on both vehicles. You can actually push this down and you can have the seats go down. So really, really cool that you can actually just do it from the driver's seat. So now that is the Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum interior here. Let's go over to the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate and go over that interior as well as the differences. So we are inside the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. We'll start with the steering wheel. Nice leather wrap steering wheel here. You actually got this here instead, where the Cadillac is actually just open all here. You've got your Super Cruise technology here with heated steering wheel, forward collision alert. So same as the Escalade, the layout just looks a little bit different. You know, we've got your controls here to control your front infotainment. Now, if you use this button here, it will control your front infotainment, so you can go through depending on what you want. Now, you can get this vehicle with augmented reality and night vision. It just has to be spec'd. Now, behind the steering wheel here, we have paddles to shift, and then we also have tuning knobs and volume knobs at the back. On the back of the steering wheel, we've got toggle here for your wipers, and then transmission select, but you can tell it's just plastic here, where the Cadillac kind of has that little bit more nicer feel to the shifters here. This one does also come with the heads-up display, and then here at the top, more hard touch plastic, I would say. Then you have a speaker here on the A-pillar, but the Cadillacs look a little bit bigger. You do get some storage up here, which is actually a nice thing to have, but overall I would say the dash looks pretty good. You get some soft touch here, a little bit with some white stitching. I like the wood trim. I think it looks good with that brown, and then you get that lower glove box area. Now, I would say the biggest thing with the Yukon is not having a 55-inch display screen rather than just having a vertical one in the center. So it's very intuitive, very easy to use. You got different camera angles here. You can click camera, very easy to use, very user-friendly, and the camera quality is very good. You can scroll through, audio. You've got maps there as well. It's just going to depend on what you want to use. I like this button here. It gives you a little bit of everything. So you can have trip, audio, and maps here. And it is very responsive, I would say, the screen. Now, if you click this gives you controls here. So you can control your power steps, heads-up display, blind zone, safety steering, all that kind of stuff. You got your volume knob here too. This here is your settings button. So you can control your settings here. And then everything is in the screen. So your climate control also all has to be controlled via either these buttons, or you can just hit climate, control the front or the rear climate control areas. Now, you have to control your heated and ventilated seats through here, but you do get a heated steering wheel button, which is nice to know. Now, down below here, we've got USB, USB-C, and then we can actually just close this to make it look a little bit more cleaner if we like. We've got cup holders here. Now, in the Escalade, you'll notice that it has that big screen here that pretty much controls everything of the car, which is actually very useful, because when your arm is just kind of laying here and you want to just kind of play around with the controls, you're able to do that and then have one hand on the steering wheel. Now, if we turn over to the center console area, we've got a really soft touch padding here with the Ultimate badge there. And as we open it up, we don't get a lot of storage here. However, this center console actually moves back. So by just clicking this button here, we can actually move the center console back, and then we can actually have the passengers get closer to the cup holders or the screen, and it gives us some more storage here and here. So really cool thing that they did there. And then you also can control the third row seats here too. So if I want to put that third row seat down, I can do that here on the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate as well as the Escalade. So both cars have really cool options when it comes to tech. A little bit different, but the overall layout is really going to make or break the deal, right? Some people may like this. It's a little bit more simpler than just having that massive screen here. Now, on a longer ride, I would probably go with the Escalade because it has a screen there for the passenger, where this one here just has the one screen. So let's go talk about the prices of the two, compare them, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. But I'm sure pricing is really going to dictate what people really want or don't want in the vehicle. So let's talk price. GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate, 143,000 Canadian. Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum, 162. Now, there is a 20 grand price difference. However, you can get an Escalade for the price of this, and I'll prove it to you. We've got an Escalade here, not a Sport Platinum, but a premium luxury here in black. It's got more chrome on it, but it will cost you 142, 282, and you still get the big screen in there, and you still get a really nice interior. So, my thoughts, 100% I'm going with an Escalade. I mean, you get more in the vehicle for the same price. So why not go with an Escalade? I mean, it's going to come down to a preference, but when it comes to cost, yeah, you're going to pay more for an Escalade in this case because the trim's higher. But if you're going to get a Yukon Denali Ultimate and it's the same price as an Escalade, I'm going Escalade. So hopefully that gives you guys an idea of the two and maybe which one to choose if you are in this market. Let me know what you guys think about this review in the comments. Curious to know if you actually like these two vehicles and which one would you rather go with. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.